Hello and welcome to another weekend file on the NTA. We are live in Abuja. Politics is in the air with its attendant nuances. There is huge consciousness or awareness on the part of the masses in relation to the political realities of the time. Just recently, the political parties concluded their primaries with standard bearers emerging for various positions. And incidentally, Nigerians are now awakened to exercise their franchise come 2023 general elections. This is why there is pressure by the public on the electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, to extend the continuous voters registration exercise earlier planned to end on the 30th of June in order to allow all eligible voters to get registered. INEC has done exactly so by 60 days, and the onus is now on those who have not registered to do so, just as political parties are mobilizing their supporters to comply. Tonight on Weekend File, we'll beam our searchlight on the modus operandi of the extended continuous voters registration exercise. We do have updates from Zones plus studio discussion with Ezenwa Wangu, Executive Director, Partners for Electoral Reforms. I am Kene Ima Abodike. The news next. The heads of government of the Commonwealth have stated their firm commitment to delivering a common future for member states underpinned by sustainability, peace and prosperity towards improving the lives of 2.5 billion people they represent. This is contained in a 117-point resolutions adopted at the end of the 26th meeting of the Commonwealth leaders in Kigali, Rwanda. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The two-day meeting of the Commonwealth leaders came at a time of uneven recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, new threats to economic, security and political stability in the international system, and when many across member states are directly and increasingly affected by the impacts of climate change. The heads of government therefore underscored the importance of connecting, innovating and transforming in order to facilitate a full recovery from the global pandemic and to respond to conflicts and crises in ways that increases resilience and progress. They affirmed that universal, timely, fair and equitable access to and distribution of safe, efficacious and affordable COVID-19 vaccines are key to global recovery. Recognizing the negative impact of the ongoing global conflicts, including the war in Ukraine, on global energy and food security, the leaders highlighted the need to sustainably transform current food systems towards addressing weaknesses of the agri-food sector, improving productivity, building resilience in agriculture and supply chains to economic, social and environmental shocks. The Commonwealth meeting also reaffirmed that radicalization leading to violence, violent extremism and terrorism in all its forms are serious global threats, while expressing concern for victims and strongly condemning perpetrators. They acknowledge that these threats require a multifaceted and whole-of-society approach, including working with relevant stakeholders towards addressing the root causes and drivers. Before adopting the resolutions, the Commonwealth leaders held a retreat during which various declarations were approved, including the one on sustainable urbanization and childcare reforms. Two African countries, Togo and Gabon, were formally admitted as new members of the Commonwealth family. The next meeting of the Commonwealth leaders will be held in Samoa in 2024. From Kigali, Rwanda, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's delegation to Kigali for the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting led by President Muhammadu Buhari is there to strike major deals for a brighter outlook of the economy while also negotiating for immediate gains to the nation's development. Foreign Desk correspondent Usman Aliyu takes a look at some of the anticipated gains.
In a voluntary association of 54 countries that evolved gradually from the British Empire and existed in its modern form since 1949, A serious nation will be emboldened not to take for granted any opportunity to negotiate better deals for the citizens at a time like this when even the big economies are striving not to go down. And that is what Nigeria's government considers. Looking at the Commonwealth of Nations, a population of 2.5 billion people being in Kigali represented is a platform for Nigeria to maximize and attract more attention among the bloc on common interests and mutual gains in various areas of the economy. Nigeria's active presence at the Kigali summit has enormous significance in boosting the economy, most especially building on the successes by the federal government in the current economic diversification drive, which saved the country's economy to absorb global shocks as a result of the pandemic and the current war between Russia and Ukraine, the effects of which the big and the emerging economies are even biting their fingers because of inflation, food shortage, and energy crisis. Therefore, the convergence of this network for cooperation on common goals such as protecting the environment, boosting trade, fighting malaria and those neglected tropical diseases, supporting democracy, promoting education and gender equality are what the Nigeria's delegation, led by President Buhari, are giving their louder voices for.
One of our newest members is now at the helm, and more nations are seeking to join, which tells you everything you need to know about the health and vitality of our Commonwealth, because for all the differences between us, we're united by an invisible thread of shared values, history, and friendship.
Most of the Commonwealth members are former British colonies, but that is not a condition for membership. And as the size expands, so also the strategy Nigeria's government uses under President Buhari is ambitious to secure better future in the global arena for multilateral and bilateral engagements such as this Kigali summit. Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
And in politics, the Asiwaju Tinubu Presidential Campaign Organization says it is committed to galvanize support and midwife the electoral process that will translate to victory of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress come 2023. Correspondent Oyeyinka Omole was at a press conference by the organization in Ibadan and now reports.
The campaign director described Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as a man of immense goodwill and loved by Nigerians across regions and religions, which makes him the obvious choice to make Nigeria great.
His antecedents speak volumes of his abilities. He's head and shoulders above other flag bearers when it comes to understanding the Nigerian economy. He loves the youth and wants the best for them. He's interested in the welfare of the downtrodden and wants to help them get better.
The former minister emphasized that the organization would cooperate fully with the APC National Campaign Council that will be set up in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
Now, the federal government is taking drastic measures to engage communities producing oil and gas and also to complete the Oloibiri Museum project. Minister of State Petroleum Resources made a promise in a meeting with the people of Abuja Kingdom of Bayelsa State in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Oloibiri, first place where crude oil was struck in 1956, still occupying the first chapter in the history books of oil and gas in Nigeria, the pride of the nation's oil and gas industry, but deprived of its beauty and memories. Successive administrations have made efforts to retain these beautiful memories, but failed.
Oloibiri Oil Museum that has been there since 1983, that's 39 years ago, nothing has happened.
Former governor of Old River State and indigene of Abuja Kingdom, late Chief Melford Okilo, in 1983, laid the foundation of the Oloibiri Oil Museum project, but never succeeded. President Olusegun Obasanjo tried, yet another failure. 39 years after, President Muhammadu Buhari is here to revive the dreams of late Melford Okilo.
The Oloibiri Museum project that Mr. President graciously approved. In the next few months, we should be able to get approval from the Federal Executive Council, and this project will commence very, very quickly. And once it commences, I can assure you, we would have gotten to the point of no return.
The signs are obvious. There will be no failure anymore. And the people of Abuja Kingdom are appreciative of this bold step.
You have to now appoint a manager to make sure that this project works.
Abuja, being an oil-producing kingdom, the Petroleum Industry Act needs more engagement, and the federal government also planning something great.
I agree that we need that town hall meeting so that we all understand it.
All things being equal, crude oil will no longer be a cost to the Niger Delta, but a blessing. Minister of State Petroleum and Resources Timipro Silva promised his kinsmen. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
Talking health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NSCDC, is strengthening strategies against spread of infectious diseases across the country. This is evident in an assessment visit by the Director General of the agency, Dr. Ifedaya Adetifa, to the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH. Hengino John Adams reports.
Surge after surge, the coronavirus pandemic ravaged the world, causing many uncertainties. Now, the waves have eased, and it seems many have laid down their guards. But the Nigeria Center for Disease Control is not relenting on eradicating the virus and preventing outbreak of other infectious diseases.
It's a collection of a range of very different symptoms.
The Director General of the center, while interacting with management of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, commended them for their fierceness during the pandemic and promised stronger collaboration against future outbreaks.
Lagos State government, federal government institutions are all partners with us in assuring the country's health security, and of course, we've benefited immensely from the collaboration, very strong collaboration, mutually beneficial relationships in the context of responding to the ongoing COVID pandemic and to other public health threats as well, whether be it monkeypox or Lassa fever.
The country is very grateful to the medical community, not just doctors, not just nurses, everybody within the medical space did exceedingly well in combating this ongoing, almost diminishing pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic.
With recorded cases of monkeypox in some parts of the country, this initiative is expected to address the problem. In Lagos, Hinginu John Adams, NTA News.
And towards resuscitating the education sector believed to be the key target of Boko Haram insurgents, Borno State government under Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has continued to make giant strides in consolidation of the gains already attained in the sector. Mohammed Goni in this special report highlights turnaround recorded in the 3 years of the present administration in the education sector.
Boko Haram means Western education is sacrilege, which is why school infrastructure were destroyed. Teachers and learners prime target for killing in the 12 years of Boko Haram insurgency in the efforts to destroy the education sector. Since then, Borno State government had made it a policy to build more schools with the belief that terrorism can only be defeated with education. Hence, the emergence of mega schools, rebuilding of destroyed ones at all levels, and a determination to take over the over 50,000 children orphaned by insurgency off the street, including the less privileged ones. On assumption of office, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum came up with a number of policies and programs geared towards consolidation of gain made in the education sector, including establishment of Education Trust Fund, which had since swung into action.
There are many schools projects ongoing in the state, and government have committed huge resources in the education sector and ready to do more for the betterment of the state.
The present administration had constructed additional 24 mega schools equipped with modern teaching and learning facilities such as computers and care and teaching technology, employed 800 science-based teachers for secondary schools, and paid students examination fees, as well as improved school feeding system in boarding institutions. Government in the period under review also constructed technical colleges and rehabilitated existing ones to promote trade and skills at secondary school levels, and further built 432 classrooms in 48 schools across the state, while 232,000 textbooks as well as 10,000 bicycles were also procured and given to students to encourage enrollment and retention. Governor Zulum's administration also reviewed education laws for effective service delivery and establishment of Sangaya and Islamia Board as part of efforts to enhance the historic system by introducing basic literacy and numeracy in its curriculum, and personally supervised enrollment of school-age children as part of Return to School campaign.
Competencies in the areas of numeracy and literacy, that is what we need.
Also rebuilt and returned was the completed burn-down Umar Ibn Ibrahim College of Education, Science and Technology, Bama, as academic activities have since picked up, while during the 2021-2022 academic session, 15,378 students across the state have benefited from scholarship amounting to 476 million naira. Borno State University has commenced academic activities on inception of this administration, while College of Medical Science and state teaching hospitals are being constructed as prerequisite for take-off of Faculty of Medicine, which has reached appreciable level of completion. Free buses have equally been provided to convey students to the State University, serving as relief for the daily movement. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
As a result of the growing concerns on learning needs of displaced persons across the country, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has launched the project Educate All in Waru community in the FCT. Ruth Aguele reports.
It is a life-changing moment for pupils of Early Primary School, Waru, in the Federal Capital Territory. The excitement here is in celebration of a library being established in the school for the first time. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons launched the project Educate All Library with the theme Readers Are Leaders, an initiative targeted at displaced children who are part of learners in the school to promote reading culture and improve learning.
The roles and function of the library cannot be quantified. It is also the center of academic activity where pupils, students, they expose themselves academically. The introduction of classroom libraries and making sure that teachers will be able to teach our young ones how to read and write will be what will solve our challenges.
This initiative of the project Educate All, which brings education to the doorsteps of the displaced population.
This initiative will help promote inclusive and equitable access to quality education.
A fallout of the project Educate All, the Readers Are Leaders, will be an e-library in collaboration with Staffetel, so that these kids can have options of either reading with a book or reading with a tablet.
There's many books here, there's many stories, so we can learn more from this library.
Books, they say, open windows to the world. It is hoped that these pupils will explore this window of opportunity by reading to lead. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
Now, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, is exploring different means to showcase the negative effects of drug abuse and illicit substance intake, as well as factors that parents neglect, which indirectly fuels such bad behavior. Abdul Malik Hassan reports that this comes as part of activities marking the UN Week on Drugs and the premiere of 2 movies. High is the New Death and Trap tells it all.
Portrayed in this movie could be a shock to many parents who unknowingly subject their children to drug abuse and substance intake, an action that also spreads through peer influence. It's a current reality and a challenge that must be faced, but the bulk of work is on the parents if substance abuse must be addressed.
Parents have to begin from when the kids become aware and self-conscious to teach them what is good and what is not good. Remember, unless we address the cause. If you have issues, if you have a dysfunctional family, he goes for the rehab and goes back to the same family environment. If it has not changed, and this from the parents again, love and care, look after them, talk to the kids, otherwise there'll be relapse.
Nollywood provides a fantastic platform. Unfortunately, quite often we are more in the business of glorifying drug use and drug traffickers and so on. So I think it is just about time that we are also telling the stories, the downside of drug use.
It is the same ideology that runs through the minds of the producers of the movies.
And I know that there are people who do not go to church, there are people who do not go to mosque, but then they watch our movies and then they get sensitization. They watch our movies and it influences them. So I feel I have the right influence on them.
It's a true story and it's something we need to know so that we begin to take time out to address these challenges.
080-010-203040 would be launched on 30th of June. Those with drug addiction and substance abuse syndrome are advised to utilize the toll-free helpline. Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
The independent power project powered by the federal government to boost commerce in the Ariaria international market has temporarily shut down. This is due to ongoing construction of a section of the market by the state government. Benson Osadebe reports.
Many traders here in Ariaria International Market heaved a sigh of relief when this power project was commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019. The initiative was intended to reduce pressure on the national grid and provide steady electricity supply in Ariaria Market and other adjoining markets such as the shoe manufacturing sections of power line. Today, this all-important project is unable to serve its original purpose. The ongoing reconstruction of some sections of Ariaria International Market has led the operators of the power project to pull off some of their facilities from the work sites.
We usually supply light to mainly people in the other side of the demolished part of the market. And since then, they have been trying to do the installation, but I don't know what is preventing them from giving light to the other part of the market. They say after they have finished the shop, they will restore the light.
Investigation reveals that prior to this development, the power project was one of the major energy sources in the market, despite allegations of underperformance, which prompted the House Committee on Power to visit the facility on an oversight function last year.
The House Committee got a petition and it's on the strength already that we have come here. So now we have seen the problems that are here. We have interacted with the investors in the power project and we have interacted with the trader. We have seen all the challenges. So we go back, take this report to our chairman, Engineer Magaji, and the committee will now deliberate on our report.
It is hoped that the power project will begin to perform optimally once the economy reverts to normal. In Aba, Benson Osadebe, NTA News.
Seafarers are responsible for supervision of the functionality of the ship, from engineering, catering, navigation to repairs and maintenance. They travel around the world ensuring safety of goods, yet they are unnoticed by the majority of beneficiaries. Miriam Amadi in this special report takes a look at the theme of 2022 Seafarers Day, celebrated every June 25, which is Your Voyage, Then and Now. Share your journey.
The work of a seafarer is as exciting as it is challenging.
I feel great. I feel proud to belong to a noble profession that involves seafaring.
The dream of every Navy personnel to sail always. Also, there is a saying that join the Navy and see the world. So for me, it was a total accomplishment of those aspirations of the Navy personnel.
Honoring on the sacrifice of the seafarers, this year's theme focuses on the seafarer's voyage and how it has evolved over time in terms of better technology and skills.
Seafarers are major stakeholders within the maritime sector, and of course it is important that their activities are conducted in a safe and secure environment. The Nigerian Navy is now producing up-to-date charts and publications for seafarers to use within our waters.
This year's commemoration also creates opportunity to uncover some of the challenges seafarers face and how they are being resolved.
The main challenge, I must tell you, seafarers face is the issue of insecurity within the maritime environment, where they carry out their legitimate businesses. And further to this, the suppression of piracy and other Maritime Offences Act of 2019 is instructive.
Seafarers like Sani and Anthony perform one of the toughest jobs, navigating through rough seas. Without them, global trade will come to a standstill. Miriam Amadi, NTA News.
You're on to Weekend File on the NTA. Come along on this break. Thank you for staying with us. Almost everyone seems in a rush to get his or her permanent voter card ahead of the 2023 general elections. Why the rush for an exercise that has lasted for about a year now? Mia Ogidi gives what informed the last-minute rush.
Flags and more flags. Flagging of the electioneering period. Concerts.
Yesterday, when I saw the crowd that trooped here to register, we said we must change strategy. The strategy is that instead of everyone coming to TPS to register, we will register in 20 centers, the 20 local governments in Lagos.
Concerts and force. But why the rush?
I will not call it a revolution, but I will call it a necessity.
Social media votes do not count, prayer points do not count, and a lot of us have been complaining online and all of that. So we said that, you know what, the power is in our hands. So we have to, come together to try and make some, change.
5 days to go for the continuous voter registration exercise. Fire brigade approach virtually everywhere.
Be a place whereby, even if it's in the church or in the mosque or in the supermarket or in the parks, there should be a place, a lesser place that is going to be made, that things are going to be just easy for people to get their PVC.
I felt like it would be more efficient if they had divided people based on what they came for, so that it will move faster. We have been here for hours, people are still coming.
But the National Assembly seems intervening to extend the exercise.
I need to provide more machines because what they have now, one per local government, is not just enough.
There is no terminal date for you to get your driver's license. I should be able to explain to us, since permanent voter's card is what a card reader is going to read for somebody to vote. What challenges, what impediments, what reasons do they have to say that by 30th of June, there should not be further registration?
Some people say that we are masters and mistresses of the 11th hour. We leave it until the last moment, then we rush to do the registration. And then you hear citizens talking about being disenfranchised. Well, we have been doing this for the last 9 months.
In the absence of any extension by INEC, that we urge INEC to extend.
It is a decision for the bosses at the top. Until that decision is taken from the top, those at the bottom should continue with rush at the moment. Mia Ogede, NTA.
As political activities become intense ahead of the 2023 general elections, there has been a massive awakening to the importance of obtaining the permanent voter cards PVC in Lagos State. Ruth Aria Samuel takes a look at how the exercise has fared in the state.
It's a long process, trust me. Like, some persons have been here for like 3-4 days, 1 a.m., some 4 a.m. It's not something I would wish anyone to come.
It has not been easy. This is making my 4th time of being here. I'll get up by 5 o'clock to try to meet up, but still.
You get more manpower, like 50 coppers, 30 systems. The work will flow.
Some Lagos residents lamenting on their inability to get registered. This is the situation in most centers visited in the state, as thousands of eligible applicants stormed the centers in order to beat the deadline of June 30. This reawakening is not only indicating a new dawn, but it is pointing to the massive sensitization by Nigerian celebrities, clergymen, philanthropists, civil society organizations, media, and politicians, among others, who have consistently urged Nigerians to go the extra mile in getting their PVCs. Among those who have been massively drawn into this consciousness are the youths who in Lagos State besieged registration centers and special centers. In response to the upward surge in the number of citizens that wish to register as voters, the electoral body released additional 209 machines, mainly to the 5 southeastern states, Lagos and Kano, where the pressure was most acute.
There will be more machines will be deployed all over Lagos from next week.
With the possibility of another extension on the ongoing continuous voter registration by INEC, it is hoped that millions of Nigerian prospective voters will take the opportunity and be registered in order to perform their civic responsibility in Lagos. Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
We'll be joined in the studio by Ezenwa Nwabu, Chairman, Partners for Electoral Reform. You're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much.
It's alarming to see the nature of the rush, particularly by young people, to get registered ahead of 2023 general elections. Everybody wants his or her card at the dying minutes, and we are talking about extension or no extension. Why, in your own opinion, why are we rushing at this time?
Well, a lot of things have contributed to the rush. First, it's you can't divorce the passing of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, which quite a lot of people are optimistic as provisions that can increase electoral integrity and boost the confidence of voters that their votes will count. That's important. And then the aftermath of the primaries that we have seen for selection of candidates in the dominant political parties. The outcome outraged quite a lot of people, and there are individuals who have shifted from one party to the other and have created some kind of buzz around the need for young people to take their cards. But beyond all of that, the bigger issue is we had close to more than 80 million people in 2019 who were registered to vote, but we have not had up to 30 million of them to vote in that election. And it just concluded the elections. We also saw that 36.5% INEC figures of the 900 and close to 1 million people who voted. So collection rate was about 20%. So the big question, really, we need to shift from the assumption that the collection, there are many reasons why people collect these cards. It could be for ID card purposes. It could be for, they are told that amenities that come to their community is tied to their voting strength and all of those other, surrounding issues. But we need to target more in terms of getting away from the fad of PVC collection to actual voting, which is where the challenge is. The challenge is not been about PVC collection. It's more about the
exercising the franchise itself.
That continued drop, if you like, in the number of people who eventually come out to vote. So the thinking after all of this, it can't continue. INEC has to stop this at some point. So we need to then go back to collection of the PVC. And it's not distribution, it's collection, which means you have to go by yourself and pick up this card and at the end of the day use it to vote. But it's within people's rights to collect their cards. It's now the responsibility of the political parties who are the direct beneficiaries of this vote thing to go out there and insist that those who have their cards should come out and vote.
The rush appears a little bit overwhelming. Do you think INEC is equal to the task at the moment?
Well, the geography of the rush does not suggest that it is national. We cannot superimpose what happens in Lagos and the major urban cities to give an impression that it's a nationwide thing. But as it is, INEC chairman this morning in the youth vote count concert that held in Abuja said that by October, anyone who has registered will get their PVC. That to me means that INEC is sufficiently ready to ensure that those who register, and believe me, we may not add more up to 20 million to this voter register at the end of the day.
All right, you're watching Weekend File on the NTA. Let's go on another break. The Independent National Electoral Commission in Abia State is synergizing with community leaders in engaging the services of local vigilantes and other security outfits to ensure the safety of its staff at the various registration centers in the state. The Resident Electoral Commissioner, Joseph Ilo, said the attack on an INEC staff some time ago did not at any point halt the continuous voter registration in the state. Ifomando Collier completes the report.
The ongoing continuous voter registration in Umuahia, Abia State capital, is witnessing massive turnout of voters across the 17 local government areas of the state. Despite the surge in people at the registration centers, residents remain resolute to participate in the electoral process.
So far so good, although things have not been fast and have not been slow either.
It's going very smooth since I came. The staff are polite, gave me the form, completed and being attended to.
To decongest centers where the surge is overwhelming and make registration faster, new registration centers have been activated at strategic places, including hospitals and markets.
We expected the surge, but I never knew the surge will be as much as it did. We have developed some registration centers close away from the local government headquarters.
Some residents, however, believe that there is still room for improvements.
We must bring these registration centers to villages, to communities where people can walk to go and register.
The Resident Electoral Commissioner, while pointing out that the Commission has so far registered 200,000 voters in Abia State, reacted to the report that the exercise was suspended in the state due to the attack on an INEC staff.
We never stopped registration for one day. We had security challenges sometime about 3 weeks ago in Amangu, but we have resolved the matter. We have overcome the challenges.
Meanwhile, INEC in Abia has further extended the registration time in the state from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. to ensure that substantial number of people beat the deadline.
And from Guzau comes a report that the ongoing continuous voter registration in Zamfara State is recording massive turnout of people as prospective voters, especially civil servants and students, are taking advantage of the one-week public holiday declared by the state government to participate in the exercise. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
As at May 2022, Zamfara State Office of the Independent National Electoral Commission says no fewer than 33,000 prospective voters were registered in the ongoing continuous voter registration in the state. Zamfara State government and some other stakeholders, however, appeared uncomfortable with the figure. Hence the recent decision of Governor Bello Muhammad to approve the declaration of one-week public holiday to enable more people, especially civil servants who have not registered or collected their permanent voter cards, to do so. Consequently, the continuous voter registration centers across the 14 local government areas of the state have recorded massive turnout of prospective voters, especially civil servants.
I think it's a very visionary and well thought out decision to declare a one-week break.
My daily schedules are that tight that I cannot devote that time to go and do for myself, let alone mobilizing others to do. But with this opportunity created or established, I had this opportunity today.
We'll go house to house, inshallah. Young men and women who turned 18 years old after the last exercise are also very visible at the registration centers.
We want to choose good leaders. If I don't have voter's card, how can I go and vote my choice?
Some of the prospective voters who spoke with NTA News, however, described the registration as tedious and appealed to INEC to deploy additional staff and machines to make the exercise seamless.
When we informed the headquarters about the upsurge in the registration of voters, we were given the additional machines. Internally also we sourced additional personnel to man the machines. are now able to handle quite a large number of voter turnout.
Though the one-week public holiday declared by the state government comes to an end, some officials of the Public Election Committee on the importance of obtaining the permanent voter card set up by the state government say efforts are being intensified to ensure that all eligible voters in the state get registered before the suspension of the exercise. In Busau, Jabilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
We're still with Ezenwa Nwagu, Chairman Partners for Electoral Reform on Weekend File tonight. It doesn't appear that all is where they should be, because in some quarters, some people are asking for more machines to be deployed, even including more staff to be able to take care of those who want to get registered quick and soon. And then of course there are people who want it to be brought very close to their domains. I wouldn't know how that will work, because all these burdens that INEC should have to carry.
Well, the challenge will be unending, as you know. We would have to push INEC to the point where they are going to have to do this extension. But as you know, even with the extension, people will still wait till the last day and then put pressure on the institution. But this is time bad, because it's about law now. There has to be a point in which INEC must stop this voter registration so that it can process the cards that have been process those who have registered. And there are those who will not get their cards, because if they register after that period, processing those cards may mean that they will not have it until after the next election. But whatever it is, I think we need to understand that the whole 9 months before now, we did not take advantage, and that even with the fire brigade approach that we have put there, it's going to have some consequence. And part of the consequence management will be that at some point in time, this has to stop. Whether you take it down to the villages, there are communities that are making that arrangement with INEC officials, providing incentives and saying, please come to our estate, come to our community, and then do that. Even at that, when they come, there is still mobilization for people who live within those places to go and do their registration. One part of it is because at the end of the day, voting is not compulsory in our country. We must always, so there has to be persuasion. And we have left that business of persuasion to civil society, INEC. The political parties are not actively engaged in this process right now. But whatever it is, voter registration's got to end. And when it does end, let's now push for people to go and collect their PVCs. When they have collected their PVCs,
they should now use it.
They should eventually use it for the purpose for which it is given, which is to vote. Look at the statistics of all the elections that have happened, from Anambra down to Ekiti. The voter turnout has been abysmally low, and that challenge is what we need to really confront.
Unfortunately, most Nigerians still believe that votes do not count, and that explains why some of them have that apathy about election and its processes. But look at the Zamfara state government show of seriousness that people should at least take off 1 week and face the matter squarely. Should that be replicated in other states?
Well, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I think I applaud the Zamfara state government, but I think we have moved away from votes don't count. I think we have left that place. Elections have become more and more competitive. The introduction of technology, the removal of voter identity theft through the BVAS, the bimodal voter application that we have now, that does not only capture your fingerprints but also takes your facials. The electronic transmission of results from polling units and many other beautiful innovations. If you derelict your duty, if you don't post the form E60E, you can go to jail as an INEC official. All of those things being put into the electoral process have inspired confidence, and that's why I told you that you cannot divorce the Electoral Act. If you remember, this same surge also came with passing the Electoral Act. Nigerians were unanimous in putting the pressure on both the National Assembly and the executive to pass this law, because they see in the law the opportunity for votes to count. And for me, as an election enthusiast, I am confident
that votes will count.
We are no longer talking about votes not counting.
Okay.
We are now moving to a situation in which citizen participation can increase.
Thank you very much, Ezenwa Nwagu, for coming on Weekend File tonight.
It's my pleasure.
We're speaking with Ezenwa Nwagu, Chairman, Partners for Electoral Reform. Let's now go on our last break on Weekend File. Next is sports update.
Rivers United emerged 2021-2022 Nigerian Professional Football League NPFL champions following Plateau United's 2-1 away loss to Akwa United this evening. Nigeria's Premier Female Football League is to resume in September 14. This is part of the decision at the Congress of the Nigerian Women Football League Board held in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. The Congress resolved that players' transfer in the coming season must be very transparent using the international system. The Congress commended the leadership of the board of the Nigerian Football Federation, led by the President, Amaju Pinnick, for giving the NWFL the backing to succeed in the 2021-2022 season. Helen Fuwo, the Nigerian Under-17 team, emerged as the champions of the regional WAFU B Under-17 tournament on Friday evening in Cape Coast after beating their counterparts from Burkina Faso 2-1 in the final match.
The ball to find Emmanuel Michael. Michael would send a cross, and it's a beautiful goal. They won the competition in grand style in Ghana. The Golden Eagles, the most successful under-17 team in the world.
Abubakar Abdullahi scored a brace to ensure the Eagles replicated the feat achieved by the country's under-20 team, the Flying Eagles, about a month ago when they conquered the region during the qualifiers in Niamey, Niger Republic. Nigeria and Burkina Faso qualified for the African Under-17 Championship, which Algeria will host next year. It is from this tournament in Algeria that Africa's flag bearer to next year's FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Peru will emerge. Favor Ache and Grace Unwokocha emerged fastest men and women athletes in 100 meters after winning the finals of the athletics trial at the Samuel Gumudia Stadium, Benin City. While Favor Ache returned a time of 9.99 seconds to set a championship record in the men's 100 meters final, Grace Unwokocha returned 11.02 seconds in the women 100 meters finals. Earlier, Abejoye Oyeni won the 110 meters hurdles for men in 13.78 seconds, and in the women 100 meters hurdles finals, Toby Amusa won the race with a new meet record of 12.53 seconds. With sports update, Enojo Adiku, NTA News.
Let's take a look at tomorrow's weather picture.
Glad to have you on Sunday's weather focus. Thunderstorms are expected over part of Taraba, Adamawa, Borno, Bauchi, Jigawa, Kano, and Katsina in the morning, while the remaining axis of northwestern region should watch out for partly cloudy atmosphere. The north central region should be cloudy atmosphere with chances of thunderstorms over Benue, Kogi, and Kwara in the morning, while the inland cities of the south down to the coastal states should watch out for cloudy atmosphere with chances of rains over Enugu, Edo, Ogun, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom in the morning. As we move into afternoon, evening, hold a better prospects of thunderstorms activities over the northern region, the north central region, the inland cities of the south down to the coastal belt should watch out for rains. I remain Suleiman Gurin. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.
Thanks indeed for watching Weekend File on the NTA tonight, and do remember to support us in the fight against rape and rapists. I am Kenen Ima Aburiken. Good night.